they always like recording in progress.
Recording in progress.
He asks me a question and then sneakily starts recording. Fran.
We have a rosemary in the background today instead of aloe vera. I had to bring it in so that it didn't die in this freezing cold weather.
I bet it smells lovely in there. I love the smell of rosemary. I don't like all the animals, all the bees that it brings. Although I like bees, I just don't want them around me.
Love the bees that it brings. It's good for the
I just don't
planet.
want
Without
the
the
bees.
bees, we die.
Well, did you like the ants that were at World's Toughest Mudder?
We don't die without the ants as much. And I did not like them.
I don't actually
and
know.
My ankles are killing me.
Are they still bothering you? You guys got torched. I was not envious of that.
I was chompied.
Well, shoot. Welcome back, everybody.
Let's talk about shoot.
Yes. This. What by the way, what episode is this? 22?
I'll stop paying attention.
I know too. This is 22 of Fran and Carlo get OCR
adjacent
here on the OCR Report podcast, YouTube channel, and other streaming services. By the way, since we're talking about streaming channels, go ahead and give us a like or a subscribe or
I thought you were going to ask me to do something there, and I was like,
She was not prepared.
I've got nothing prepared. This is me.
I learned through a therapy session the other day that when I get put on the spot about something like a question and I'm not prepared, I get severe anxiety.
Do you? How does that manifest?
I just want to leave. I want to get out of there.
Okay.
I just don't. I just kind of go, and I want to flee.
And you just get up and leave.
I mean, no, because sometimes it's not appropriate to do so. But that's what I want to do. What I want to do is bail. Maybe I'll ask the question back. Maybe I'll, I kind of stall. And so anyway, we can get into that some other time.
We absolutely can. It's very interesting.
Welcome. So this would probably be pretty much a World's Toughest Mudder 2024 recap episode because
completely, yeah.
Yep. I'm sure other things happened in the world of OCR.
They might have done, but I have no idea.
I have not been paying attention.
I haven't been paying any attention.
We did Worlds. We went and had a bunch of fun after Worlds.
We did. We got no footage of the fun that we had, but we can promise you it happened.
We didn't.
We didn't.
And
I kept saying, I was like, we need to film stuff. And we were like, yeah. The problem with filming stuff when you're having fun is it takes away a bit of the fun.
It does.
Yeah.
And then you're kind of on the spot to like be funny and quirky in it. Like, it
doesn't work.
It's all up here. Our fun is up here. And that's, you know what? I've been enjoying it for the past week. So it's fine with me.
We had a great time. It was
apologies to our fans who won't be able to see our fun footage, but yeah.
We have a few pictures.
Yeah.
We can share those on screen.
I probably could if I can figure out how to do that.
We have one picture.
Well, let's you know what? Let's jump in.
Let's jump in. 2 feet.
Let's start with, everybody knows the results by now. We'll get into the results because I think there's interesting things about the results that are fun to talk about. But let's talk about
still scratching. This is me scratching.
World's Toughest Mudder experience in general. What are the highlights or lowlights? What are you things that you really enjoyed, things that you maybe thought could have done better? Not just us because we did great, but Do
you know what I found weird about this year's WTM?
Tell me.
And this is very random. It was my third one, right?
Mm-hmm.
Last year and the year before, the setup was identical. So the race start and finish chute was facing the same way. And the pit looked identical. And our tent was in an identical spot. So it almost could have been the same year repeated. And this year it was flipped.
Yeah, it was.
It was flipped. We were on the other side and it felt very, very weird. And is that my biggest takeaway from World's Toughest Mudder 2024? It might be.
And the fact that when you guys first started broadcasting, you were sitting on top of fire ants.
So we were sitting on top of, I don't know if that happened from the broadcast or whether it was from the, when we ran the day before. Walked.
That's right. We did do a course preview the previous day. We ran about 5K.
We did. We had to cut off a
course.
big loop because they wanted to keep some things secret. I don't know what it was that they kept secret, to be honest.
And also, it seems like, for those who didn't know, there was cows out on the property.
Ooh.
And the cows had their way sometimes with some of the course markings. So they had to
Okay.
keep going out there and putting it back up.
I thought it was alligators, to be honest.
Just the one that,
So yeah, so there were fire ants. That was probably my lowest point with the insects. I mean, you saw me, I was in pain. Like I was slapping myself sideways for
it was
Sunday.
surprising how bad it got you or how bad they were affecting you.
I'm tasty.
Clearly.
But highlights. I was just gonna sound like a really bad person then. But I'll say it. Being right is always nice.
You know what? I enjoy being right myself.
Being right is always nice.
Are you
I made wild claims from the day before that were argued by everyone. Not one person agreed with me that Michael Schutt would win. Not one person. Everyone's like, no, he won't. Ryan has never lost over 8 hours. And I was
well
like, well, you never. Yeah, fine, that's a fact. That might be a fact, but it doesn't mean he's going to win. I love Ryan. This is nothing against Ryan. I was just like, Michael Schutt is coming back, and that was just my gut feeling, and it's often right. And
now
and then he did, and then I made another wild claim which was that he would get 115, potentially 120, and I made that claim at about sometime in the early evening. And Will was like, "That's a bit crazy," and I was like, "Well, call me crazy," and he's like, "Everyone does."
now if
So yeah.
I'm not gonna do now just to take the other side of that coin, I think prior to Friday, most people would have agreed with your prediction.
Hmm.
Now, to what some folks who I don't know how you wouldn't know this, but anyway, those people who weren't paying attention, for those who don't know, completely unexpected, Ryan Atkins showed up to compete. He has not been
Brilliant.
at World's Toughest Mudder since 2018, I believe. Is that right? 2018. Yeah, because 19 it wasn't there, 20, yeah.
I wasn't there.
So so immediately when the greatest of all time at the race shows up, I mean, far be it for people to be like, actually, and granted, he's in a different place. He had a baby. They've
He
got
just had a
like,
baby. It's hard work. Look, it wasn't a comment. It was not a commentary on Atkins.
I
It was a
agree. I know
commentary on Schutt.
exactly.
It wasn't Atkins doesn't have it in him to win. It was Schutt definitely has it in him to win, which I
Yeah.
think is a very different position. And also, I was the only person with a top three of Schutt, Atkins, and Fury, and that definitely would have been the top three. So I'm just
Yeah.
saying. I'm just saying.
And
I'm just saying.
to me, yes. And that's the thing is for those who don't know, what was it about 20, 25 miles in? Oh no, he got 50 miles, right? Ryan got 50 before he rolled
I
his
don't
ankle.
remember anything from that night. The next day, I was like, don't know anyone's name. I've
Okay.
completely
So
forgotten everything.
Atkins
I'll
rolled his
remember it.
ankle
Just right now, I don't remember it.
and got
Thing.
injured and was unable to continue to compete at compete for the podium, basically.
Yes.
He
So
went
he took
back,
the
he went
rest of
back
the
out. He
night
sat,
off. He took the rest of the night off, and then just did a final lap so that he was official finisher,
yep.
which I think
And
is brilliant.
me too. Because
I
he
think it's
ran with some of the
fantastic
orphan
that
tent people.
he took a step back and just went, "Yep, this is not worth it. This is not worth it
Yep.
for me." And he's fine now. He's running. He was out for a
He
run
was
the other day looking
smiling.
for
He was
Lindsay's
having a good
friend.
time. He was in good spirits about it.
I
I
saw
talked
him
to him a
out in the
couple
pit, and
times.
he said I was like, "Is it bad?" And he was like, "No, it's not bad. It's just it's not worth it. It's not worth making what could be a 3 week injury into an 8 week
Mm,
injury."
wait a minute.
Hmm.
Are you saying Ryan Atkins said his ankle wasn't bad? Because I heard from people who weren't Ryan Atkins that it was very serious.
Well, I heard from people that weren't Ryan Atkins that it was very serious, and they definitely told me, once again, completely disagreed with me very strongly to my face after I'd already been right about a few things. And I was like, well, this is my opinion. And they're like, no, you're wrong. And I was like, "Well, okay, I don't think I am. Ryan isn't that kind of person." I was like, what, a sensible person? Yes, he is. So yeah.
So let me that's exactly what he yes. It's funny. I have for low lights, I have Atkins injury, ants, bugs, and then I thought, the one thing is there wasn't, with the exception of maybe pyramid squeeze, like there wasn't any particularly over, I
I'm
mean,
gonna
not saying
say it.
obstacles
I'm
weren't
gonna say it.
challenging.
There was nothing. Pyramid squeeze sucked, and I would have hated to do it. I didn't even do it to test. But there was nothing. There's nothing that stands out to me as being like the talking point. In the
Like
past, it's
imaginative
been
or
like the banana grips on Chunky Monkey,
Yes.
or the penalties, the length of the penalties, or the silliness of the penalties. Like, we still don't know what a lot of the penalties were. We
Hmm.
saw a few of them, but they were just like, okay, these are the penalties. There was nothing that
They weren't bad.
massively stood out to me as being like the last couple of years has been a talking point
Hmm.
of something. Um, but yeah,
Yeah, the croquet, easy.
sucked,
I
but
mean, the bouncy ball, don't get me wrong, I've done it in a race and it's not fun when your legs are sore and you got to sit there and bounce on that thing. Like,
oh,
that's
I
not
know.
fun, but it's not horrific, right?
Hmm.
So, and yeah, I actually don't know what all the penalties were, to be honest. So,
No, I don't. Because last year we had the super long penalties
yep.
that were harsh and added like 5 to 7 miles on people's unofficial race distance.
Yeah.
And the year before, the penalties were very, 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 very silly. And this year, yeah, I don't know if that was a failing on our behalf for not paying enough attention to what they were, or that it seemed to go by very fast as well, didn't it?
It really did. Although, we talked about this a little bit during the race. And what was interesting to me is something about the race starting at 1 p.m. instead
Hated
of
it.
noon.
Hated it.
It
Hated it.
it seemed like it took from like 1 p.m. to 10 p.m. took like 18 hours. I was like,
Oh
how is it
no.
only?
I thought 1 p.m. till evening, super
Yep.
fast. Overnight went by as it normally does. It was, I mean, it was so freaking hot. I was in a t-shirt. I put on a
It
jacket to stop the bugs, but I took it off and I was in it. I've never been in a t-shirt.
very hot,
Um,
humid.
and then it was the morning. It was once the sun came up till 2:30 in the afternoon. Oh my God, it
That was the
was
longest stretch of any
so,
race I've ever been a
it
part
was
of.
the longest stretch of any aspect of my life that's ever existed. I was,
And you've
came
been
to
in
one
labor.
point. I only took 2.5 hours.
Oh,
Oh,
not a girl.
yeah.
Good job.
Thank you. But it was I struggle to eat at World's Toughest Mudder. So like I always eat the
Mm,
same like it's not trail mix, but it's something. I don't know, it's an American thing. But I
that was
just got to a
tacky.
point where I was like, I don't want to eat anymore. But I bought like a cup of noodles, but none of them are vegan in the States. Then none of them are accidentally vegan. So the one I got looked really gross and I just didn't want any of it. And it got
Right.
to about 10 a.m. and I hadn't eaten for about 24 hours, 26 hours, apart from little
Oh,
snacks. And I was like, and suddenly I just went, oh God. And I was like, Dustin, I need to eat.
I snacked so
And
much.
I did snack, but I didn't eat properly. Like I suddenly just got so hungry, I felt nauseous.
Yeah.
And then I ate some chocolate and some crackers and peanut butter and felt great. But that was like a downward spiral. And I was like, oh my
Hmm.
God, we've still got 4.5 hours to go.
You know, one, and I want to,
That's very
one
me.
of the, I'll call it a low light, but not a low light from like the event standpoint. It's kind of a post event. And actually, I want to give a shout out to our buddy Mappy Davis over at ORM because he put out a quick little video after the race. It was kind of his preview to all of the footage that he did, which is really good. Actually, you should check his stuff out too. But he basically put out a little video that was like, stop saying the race was easy.
Oh my God, I know, right? I was
And I
thinking
love it. It
about
was
this
such a
and I was
great
like,
point, and he
100
details it
miles
well. Go ahead.
is still 100 miles. If you are covering 100 miles over 24 hours, you're
Yeah.
still covering 100 miles over
Yes.
24 hours. I can't do
Yes.
that. Can you do that? I can
No.
tell you that after doing the 5K loop with obstacles, my back was killing me.
Yep.
Like, it's not just that you do it, it's not just regular humans go and do it. Like, even to do 5 miles and stay out all night, to do 10 miles, whatever you do is
Yeah.
really freaking difficult. Whether the weather's hot or whether the obstacle, whatever, it's always going to be a difficult race. And I also think that we chatted about this in the car as well. There's one result that I'll pick out as being an anomaly, which is Chris Roglowski's 100 mile. But otherwise, on the whole, you can normally look at the results and there'll be a kind of a banding, an
Yeah.
average banding. And if people are sticking in with that, that just means that's the mileage. But 100 miles is still really freaking hard. It's still an achievement. It's not a handover. It's not going, oh, you got 20 miles. I mean, 20 miles is still really tough. I still can barely do that.
Yes.
So yeah, stop saying it was easy. What I hate, and I will be very strict on this with people, is like post-event pointless negativity. You can have an opinion. You can say, I'm not sure what the big talking point was. Like I said, it's an opinion.
Mhm.
It's not a positive opinion, but it's not a negative opinion. But just this negativity people have after events. And it's like, oh, because I care about it. If you cared about it, you wouldn't be being a neggy Nora, would you? If you cared about it, you'd be trying to support it whilst raising concerns, but not trying to stir crap. So yes, good video, Matt.
And I will say this because it came up a lot in the past few months. Same with OCR Same with the Croatian races. Same with World's Toughest Mudder. The loudest negative comments are
Are
all
the
coming from
ones
people
who weren't there.
who weren't there. You weren't there. Ask
You
ask the
don't
woman who got
know.
50 miles.
You weren't there.
Ask the woman who got 50 miles. Hey, was that easy? Ask the person that got 35 miles, that did the best they could and they got 35 miles. Was that easy? No.
Also, if you're not
Oh,
turning
but
up to
Fran,
if you're
in
not
New
turning up to
Jersey,
any of these events,
in New
why are
Jersey,
you
it was
having an
cold,
opinion?
Fran. It was Fran. It was cold. You don't even know what it's like. You weren't in New Jersey when we couldn't have pit crew and we couldn't. Remember.
Listen, if you care that much about the sport that you're going to have such a loud opinion, maybe try going to some events. Support them. Be there.
Yeah. Orlando's a pretty easy to get to place from anywhere.
Oh my God, it's wild.
It's a major travel destination. They
It
have a
is.
horrible airport. I did not like that airport.
Oh, they took me aside for secondary questioning.
Oh, I heard about that.
I thought I was being kicked out of the country. That
You
was
were
scary.
you're clearly a flight risk.
So this is a top tip for anyone traveling to the States. We must at some point do top tips for people coming to England, but not yet.
Yeah, we're gonna
So
do that for sure.
there's an app called Mobile Passport, MPC, I think, or MCP, Mobile Passport. So you fill that out as you arrive to the airport, and then you don't have to do as long a queue, and you don't get asked all the
Yep.
questions because you've already done it. So I did that, and I queued up, and I'm sure Charlie was behind me, but maybe not. And I went to
Charlie
see the
Bower?
guy. I'm sure he was, or it was someone who looked very similar to him, which is unusual because he's very unique
English?
looking. He's not English looking. He's
Charles is very handsome. Or not.
he's a very handsome man. I just didn't want to sound like a creep, but you know, I am. Yeah, so I did that, and he just looked at my passport. He was like, "First time here." I was like, "No, not my first time."
I was just
And
here
he's
3 weeks ago.
yeah. And then he was like, okay. And I was already a bit worried because it was my third time in the States this year. Because, Dustin is there sometimes.
Yeah.
And then a guy came past. He was like, hey, can I just follow me? I just want to ask you some questions. I was like, oh, okay. So I did my I'm a stupid little girl act, which always works with old men. I was like, I'm terrified.
Okay.
And he just asked me loads of questions. But I know someone who's been refused entry to the States before, sent back and never allowed back in. I was like, please don't, please don't, please don't.
That's so interesting. I wonder what triggered that.
I don't know. Yeah, he scanned all my bags, asked me questions, and he's like, okay, you can go. And I was like, phew.
And the best part, they didn't even find all your drugs. So great job, Homeland Security. No, we're just teasing. Totally kidding. Should we at least
Anyway,
tell them the results of the race?
yeah,
Most
go
people
for it.
know, but it doesn't hurt to go through it, right? You touched briefly on Chris Rogowski a minute ago. And even though we all know that if we had our team, we would have
Smashed it.
really competed quite highly for the team competition, but
She loved that
it was
idea,
not
by the
meant to
way.
be. I'll tell you what, the one thing that all of these last few World's Toughest Mudders have shown is what an incredible effort she did the year that she got 100 miles.
And
Because on
yeah.
average, yeah.
I
But
really think she should make a female or a heavy female team next year because the teams are not mixed by gender or split by gender. They're just teams. And we
right.
don't get female teams winning, and she could.
Yeah.
Her and Lindsay.
I think the
Her
only
and I don't know, Nicole's
I
longer.
think the only team to win worlds with a woman on the team was in 2018 when Ryan Atkins and Lindsay ran together with Ryan Woods and Brian Kowitsky. Which, by the way, I don't know if you've heard this. That was also the year that Will Hicks' team technically made the podium.
Wait, Will Hicks is in
Will Hicks, the
as in the
creator of the
OCR
OCR
report.
report, World's Toughest Podcast.
He had a World's Toughest Mudder podium.
Technically, yes. Did he get to stand on the podium? He did not. But post event,
Wow, this is brand new information. I have never heard this before. I'm so glad you educated me, or I would never have known.
Will has never mentioned that to us ever.
Never once, not ever. But to be
Nor has
fair,
he
if
ever
that was
said,
me, I would mention it constantly.
he's also never said something like, the race starts at midnight.
He's never said that. Although
We
this
could do a
year,
whole episode of just Will
Willisms,
Hicksisms. Wisms.
he had a great one this year.
So I want to
Anyway,
start
results, do it.
with the female or the woman results. Excuse me.
Female is fine when it's results.
What's that?
Female and male is fine when it's results.
Oh, is it? Okay. I know there's like, yeah, my daughter sometimes will check me on stuff and I'm like, oh, is that really so
I
good?
think calling women females is like, I saw this female at the store is
Ah,
kind of
so that's
rude,
when
but
it's
just
not
like
okay.
top 3 females. That's
Okay.
ask me why,
So
don't know.
I have a little tidbit of trivia about the female podium, which you know probably, but I'll ask you anyway. So first place was Nikki Caramba, 95 miles.
Beautiful.
She, by the way, fantastic. What a joy. Jenny Stipp, second place with 90 miles. And third place was Sarah Tucker with 85 miles. Now, Fran, this is a very unique women's podium. Do you know what it is about this podium that makes it so unique?
I'm gonna go with one of two things, either the ages or the nationalities.
Both are incorrect.
Okay.
I believe this is the first time in World's Toughest Mudder history where all 3 women on the podium are mothers.
I was gonna say something about being moms, and then I was like, "Oh, don't be that
Yeah.
person."
No, that's yeah, and
wonderful.
I forget. It might have been, I don't know, one of the 3 women actually I didn't realize that. And one of the
That's
3 women
so
made a
cool.
post about it and I was like, "Whoa,
I love that so
I love that
much.
too." I don't
That's
actually
brilliant.
know their ages, so doesn't matter to me, but
No, but
yeah.
it's always nice to see athletes that are not, you know, Josh is 43. He got 100 miles. Gives hope to
Yes.
me. Although as people did explain, you build on your fitness throughout your life. It's not that you get to 43 and suddenly you're good.
Right.
It's like shit.
Exactly.
Okay.
Speaking of
Speaking of
the men,
the
first
males,
place, if you didn't know, the name that Will Hicks cannot for the life of him say correctly, Michael Schutt
shit.
with 115 miles.
Every time he said it, I corrected him and I hated myself for it. And I may be saying it wrong, but I don't think I am.
It's, you know what? Yeah. Michael Schutt.
150
First place,
miles.
115 miles. We all kept saying, boy, I wonder what he would do had he not taken a 3-hour nap. Well, we found
Now
out.
we know when.
Turns out he doesn't slow down.
He doesn't slow. He never slowed down. He was
His lap times were incredibly consistent.
incredibly consistent. Got a little bit slower, then got faster. Standard protocol.
Yeah.
We thought they wouldn't get faster.
Second
because of the
place.
heat. Anyway, yep.
Second place with 110 miles. Pretty much our new best friend.
Oh,
Like,
one of my favorite people.
I haven't theme parked with a lot of people, but I can say that I've theme parked with Joshua Fiore.
Well, you theme parked with his girlfriend, and me and Josh and Dustin were 20 meters behind.
That's true. That's right. Me and Liz, the little short leg club, left you guys in the dust. We're like, get back, losers.
We were like,
it's not very often I find someone who can theme park at my pace. So
it was really exhausting.
Yeah, that was awesome. So yes, Joshua
Let's
Fiore.
recap over the results again without me interrupting.
Let's do it.
Yeah.
Michael Schutt, first place, 115 miles. Second place, Joshua Fiore, 110 miles. Third place, CBJ, Christian Brown Johnson, with 105 miles. He has now hit 100 miles in 3 of the last 4 World's Toughest Mudders. And he has yet to win it. But you know what? I feel like he's got it in him.
Wow.
He's only getting stronger. And he's relatively young as far as these 100-milers go. Speaking of 100-milers, we'll get into that in a minute too. Holy cow, was there a few of them.
Was there?
But let's not sleep on the team competition also. And of course, I don't have the roster. I mean, I know who the first place team is. I don't have the roster of names for second and third, unfortunately.
Oh, I knew them.
But
I knew the names. There were two of
so
them in
first
each. There
place,
were supposed to be more than two in each team, and then oh, never mind.
first place with 125 miles was the Mountain Men,
Mm-hmm.
and that was Tyler Veerman and Mark Godet.
Mm-hmm.
By the way, Mark Godet brought his what 10, 12-year-old son to
So
be his pit
cute.
crew, and it was awesome.
That's
It was like
amazing.
he was a cool kid and he was fun to talk to, and he was like all encouraging, and he took a little nap, and but it was just like I loved it. I loved seeing him out there with his boy.
I'd
I
get
thought
so
that was
worried
like
that
really,
like
really
they'd wander off or something.
sweet to see, right? Get attacked by fire ants or gator.
I mean, my kid's really sensible, but still. Anyway,
Sec- Second place was Ultra Cave with 105 miles.
they were Canadian, and they were the ones tipped to watch for
Yes,
first
they
place.
were the
They
ultra
were,
runners, I believe, right? They
yeah.
were like a bunch of ultra runner guys.
Mm.
And then third place, a name that I thought it was it's a good play on words, only if you know what the play on words is
Well, not
about.
not only if you know what the play on words is about, but only if you're American, because the name was Iowa Hot Guys.
The Iowa
Hot.
Hot Guys.
Hot Guys. And apparently the play on name was Iowa Hawk Eyes. Now just look at my
Hawkeyes.
mouth. Look at my mouth 1 second. Hot Guys, Hawk Eyes. Totally different. I cannot make hot guys sound like Hawkeyes. Hawkeyes, hot
You
guys.
just did. You just did.
Hawkeyes, hot guys. Yeah, if I do
Hot
an American
guys.
accent. Not if I
Hot
speak
guys.
English. Hot guys.
Hot guys.
Hot guys.
Hot guys.
Iowa hot guys, especially when I'm doing my microphone voice, which
With
maybe at
the
4
English
a.m. is a
accent,
bit
it's a
like.
little more difficult, but it
So
flows pretty good here
I
where we
ruined
speak
their joke
American.
all night long.
Where we speak American. How dumb is that? Let's talk about the fact that there were just a few people who hit 100 miles at this race.
I think
And
there
by
was
a
three.
few, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
You know what? Speaking of MBD, I spoke to him at like 2 a.m. He was like, "How many 100 miles do you think there'll be?" And I was like, "At least 4." And he's like, "There'll be 6 to 8." And I was like, "At least 6 to 8."
And there were 9.
9.
Let me tell you who they were, Fran,
I'm listening.
because that is no easy feat. Clearly, we know 3 of them: Michael Schutt, Josh Fiore, and CBJ. Grant Holbrook, 100 miles. I'm sorry, Grant Thompson. I just jacked the names up. Grant Thompson, 100 miles. Hunter Holbrook.
Hunter Holbrook.
Andrew Robinson, our Kiwi friend who came back for the first time
Loved
since
him.
2017. Just a wonderfully delightful human being.
Sweet pea.
Matthew Mullins, who I have a story about here in a second. Brian Beal, and Joseph Rucco, who I said to his face, Rucco, and he didn't correct me. And I learned later that it's Rucco, and I've been calling him by the wrong last name for the last few times that I've talked about him.
I mean, it could be either. We've been saying Ruco because that's how you would think it would be saying American. But we both have names that people mispronounce. If you're going to correct people every single time, you just can't be. You're just like, yeah, fine. That call me what I don't care. Call me what you want.
So I talked to Matthew Mullins at the brunch. He's a really interesting guy. He's a Navy guy. At least I believe it was Navy. I don't want to get his service wrong, but I was asking him because I didn't know a whole lot about him. And I was like, so like 100 miles, fantastic. Like, have you done like a 100 miler before? And he was like, oh yeah, I did one time. And I was like, cool. Like, which one did you run? Like, what race was it? And he goes, no, like my wife and kids were out of town one weekend and I wanted to do a long run. And there's like this 2-mile loop around my neighborhood. So I just ran it like 50 times. Like,
that's insane.
I'm like, so you just went out and just
you smashed your
ran
backyard ultra
100 miles on pavement. And he's like, yeah. I was like, well, he did 100 miles. He's not wrong, but I don't know if I would want to do it like that. I did a 50K on pavement once and it ruined me for literally almost a year.
Yeah, pavement's boring.
Yeah.
Sucky.
Yeah. So anyway, that's my fun story. Let's see. What else did I want to there was a bunch of, so aside from just the 100 milers,
yes.
right? We had 6 people get 95 miles. 3 people got 90 miles. This is men and women, right? 8 people got 85 miles. 16 got 80 miles. And 50, dude, silver bibs at one point, and again, this doesn't mean it was easy, so stop it. But at one point, like the silver bib was like, ooh, like I mean, not saying it's not, but it's like
It
jumping
was
from like
yeah.
the brown bib to the silver bib is a major thing. 59 people got silver bibs. That's off the charts incredible. So, and we'd be remiss, we have to say, first time in the history of World's Toughest Mudder, our buddy Trevor Psychos got 80 miles, which put him, well, it put him at 1,020 for his career. He thought he needed 80 miles. He only needed 60,
That's crazy.
but he still got 80.
That's
So he
great.
now has 1,020 lifetime miles
Now he's going to
at
have to
World's
do
Toughest
another
Mudder.
80, so it's 1100 round.
Yeah.
Well, actually, 180 because 1200 is a better number than 1100.
The next part of my agenda was something called fun times.
Yay!
And
Fun
these are the kind of
times
things
with
that,
Carlo and Fran.
yeah, this was basically like the fun that we had, right?
So
So
much.
aside from seeing all of our friends and all of our, you know, peers and all of these
Buddies.
great moments of seeing people on course. And one of the things that you and I got to do was, remember, there was no Golden Carabiners this year,
So
but
disappointed.
they did, I know, but
Well,
they did
yeah.
have Tough Mudder had
Silly
these
Billy
little
challenges.
challenges. And you and I did, well, technically I did two of
We
them.
did two, and then I gave a challenge to Dustin to do because it was hot sauce and I wasn't going to do that.
Yes. The first one was the pickle challenge.
I mean, I am a fast eater, right? I eat really fast. I could not eat that. I was like,
Yeah. And I
I don't
did
know how
so
you guys
basically
did it.
we had like a red solo cup full of pickle juice
And then a
and
giant
a giant
pickle,
dill pickle.
which was horrible. It tasted like turmeric.
And we had to basically, there was like maybe 8 of us that competed. And it was basically 3, 2, 1, go. You had to drink all of the pickle juice and eat the entire pickle.
Pickle. In
And
whatever order you wanted.
and 2 people, yep, I drank first and then went to the pickle.
I went pickle drink, pickle drink.
And I don't think it
Using
would have
the pickle
mattered.
juice to like knock back the I just don't know how you ate that pickle so fast.
I still didn't win. I
It
came
was
in like third.
so chewy.
That was the thing. What stopped me was the fact that my jaw was hurting from trying to
It was
choose.
so impressive. I think that's the performance of the night. That lady who ate that pickle so darn fast.
Seriously, right? Like that was I thought, oh, I probably got a shot.
I mean,
And the
I
thing
eat
is,
incredibly quickly. Of course I've got a shot.
yeah. And the pickle juice didn't bother me. Like I wasn't like my stomach wasn't weird or
Talking of pickles not bothering you, what pickles did bother you?
Fran. I'm not for the so Fran brought with her some homemade pickles that she made in the UK.
Homegrown and home pickled.
Homegrown cucumbers that she pickled. And for some reason, they according to my taste buds, just
Carlo didn't like them.
they just it yeah, something.
I think they're delicious. They're like a mix between bread and
I'm
butter
not
and
saying
dill. And I
other
was really
people found them
excited.
delicious,
Yeah, they
Fran.
did, and you didn't, and that really
I can't
disappointed me.
I can't control what my taste buds like and don't like. Some people really like tequila. I By the way, at the pub crawl,
Mm.
someone gave me
You were drunk.
like a sip of some amazing tequila, but I was also like pretty deep in the night. So I don't know if it really was amazing or anything I drank at that point just seemed amazing.
I didn't
So if I
realize
was
you were that
you,
drunk until the next day when you told me
I
about
did
how you've
not,
been starting
I
on
kind of
people.
knew. You knew whose fault it was? I mean,
Jack?
ultimately it's my fault because I was the one sipping the beverages. But Anka from Germany,
Anka.
Anka just kept placing pints of cider in front of me. And I was just like, oh, I
Okay,
thought
gulp, gulp,
another
gulp.
one? Okay.
That's
Because you don't
cute.
want to turn down, Yeah. Yeah. The day after that pub crawl.
Were you rough?
Good thing we had a mellow day at Gatorland planned.
Were you not feeling good at Gatorland?
Um, I wasn't feeling good when I woke up. After showering and when we got on the road, I felt okay. But that initially when I woke up, I was like, oh no. This is
I've
this is
ruined the
I
first
don't
day
even
of
know what
fun.
time we got
Because
to
you were
bed.
very keen to get to Gateland for when it opened. You were like, when before you went to bed, you were like, so I've checked. Gatorland opens at 10. Now, what time do you want to get there? Because it doesn't have to be 10.
I'm a rope drop kind of guy
And
when
then
it
the
comes to
next
theme
morning, you were
parks.
like, ugh. And I was like, yeah, it's not going to be 10.
Yeah. I just remember, yeah, there's little parts of the night where I was like, wait, what? What did I do? Yeah. So we remember we played some of those TV games,
Yes.
which I'll
That's
get to
becoming
that
like a
too. But
thing that we do. And I love it.
anyway, so we got a little bit off track
Sorry,
as we do.
the actual
So
event.
pickle challenge, we did that. Then they had one called hot sauce flip cup,
Yeah.
which most people know.
So I thought it was going to be a challenge with hot sauce, and Dustin, nothing is hot enough for that man. Nothing when it comes to food. And like he could eat the hottest chili and just go hum, hum, that was tasty. And so I was like, cool, he'll smash this. But it wasn't to do with the hot sauce. Apparently the hot sauce was
No.
mild and tasty. Um, and it was about flipping a cup. So I was like, well,
Yeah, and people who have played that flip cup is the game where you're supposed to drink what's in your cup and then you put it upside down and you got to flip it or no, anyway, yeah, you flip it so that it ends up right side up or
mm,
whatever. Um and yeah, so it wasn't so much about the hot sauce wasn't horrible. It was a mixture of a few different kinds, but nothing miserable. The
mm,
the the worst part was yeah, you had to and I don't play flip cup much, but I still won, by the way.
well done
I
again.
won the preliminary round and I won the finals.
Well
So
done.
and I what I got for it was a really cool long sleeve with a hood like Tough Mudder t-shirt. That helped me in the early morning when the bugs started coming out because I was like didn't want the
Mm.
bugs on me. And then I set it down in a bunch of all of our stuff and no one can find it.
Oh no.
So I'm bummed
Was
because
it
it's
Tough
actually a really
Mudder or
cool
World's
shirt.
Toughest Mudder?
What's that?
Was it Tough Mudder or World's Toughest Mudder?
It's a World Toughest Mudder.
Mm.
So I'm kind of bummed because it's a really cool shirt, and I swear when we were cleaning up our space after the race, someone was like, "Oh, I've got it. It was over here. I grabbed it." But I've now since pulled the entire team, and no
We've
one seems
also
to have
we
it.
lost
So
a few things that night.
yeah, so that's a bummer.
It's a bummer. I'm sorry about that, buddy.
So anyway, what was the other challenge you did? Because I don't remember doing a third challenge.
Holding a case of rain out in front of us, and I did kind of badly at that because you made us just hold it for ages before holding out in front of us, and I'm not strong and I have a crappy shoulder.
That's right, I won that too.
You did, well done.
But now, granted, I didn't need a case of rain, so I think that kind of got donated back to something because I won it and I was like, I will never. First off, I'm not going to ship it home,
Mm.
and I'm not going
I'm
to
not going to drink
drink
it in 3. You could have given it to
that much
Dustin.
rain in the rest of the night. So I think
You
it
could have
just
drunk
kind
it.
of who knows who got it, but it wasn't me.
Who
I just wanted to
knows?
win. Oh, so those people who don't know, it's literally like so it's a case of these rain energy drinks, and we had to just
Like
hold the flat out in front of us, kind of like you would like with dumbbells or whatever.
it was kind of
Then
hard.
you changed it up by making us do a squat.
I did.
That was actually pretty cool.
It's actually more fun to move than it is to stay still.
And it's funny because I've got like a
I've
funky
got a
left
really
shoulder,
dodgy shoulder. I got to a point I was like,
and I was surprised how well it held up. So,
yeah, mine didn't hold it.
which is funny because in today's workout, it didn't like it. So, turns out I just need to hold cases of rain
You know what? I've got
out
to
in front
tell
of me.
you, world's
Sorry,
toughest
what was it?
mudder, which is staying awake for 40 hours plus jet lag, is not conducive to being not exhausted. I am exhausted.
Yeah, I agree. I agree. Let's see. What else did we do? We went to Gatorland.
That was great.
I love Gatorland. It is just
It
it's
was
an
good seeing. I've
easy
never
go
seen
at your
gators
own
before.
pace. What's that?
Although, speaking of gators, did you see Dustin's footage from the event where there were gators?
Everybody has seen Dustin DeRoe's drone. He's an official licensed drone pilot, by the way.
Officially
If
licensed drone
you
pilot, which was
you
great
need
to have
somebody
on
to
the
hire
live
somebody, if
coverage, wasn't it?
you need somebody to hire like a drone pilot, Dustin's your guy.
He's your guy.
He took some
But
incredible footage of this like roughly 10-foot gator that was to the point where remember they showed HQ and they were like, "Ooh, we gotta move our little Statue of Liberty obstacle. We can't have people like trucking through the water with that guy out there.
Oopsie.
Um, I mean, yeah, some beautiful footage, and there was a beautiful gator.
Big
So,
boy or girl, who knows?
but we saw gators, we saw crocodiles. Even though she wasn't facing us most of the time, got to see a gator that they called Jolene,
You've been very excited about that for a
very
while.
famous, if you will, like
She
internet
was such a
famous
tiny
gator who
baby.
doesn't have her top
She
jaw because she
doesn't,
got
poor girl.
boat propped or something when they found her, but they're taking care of her and looking after her, and she's living her best life. And so I was really actually kind of excited to see her.
Mm.
We saw, what else did we see? Snakes and lakes and birds and rocks and things. Remember that song?
Yep.
Been through the desert on a horse with
Horse
no
with no
name.
name.
Well,
Na, na,
good
na,
to be
na,
out.
na, on the
Wasn't
right.
that a British guy that sang that?
I don't know.
It probably wasn't. I was a child when that song came out. We went to medieval times, which I had not been to
Never been
in.
to. I'd only done Buffalo Bill's Wild West show in Paris, which is the same kind of idea, but
Yep.
funnily enough, American themed, whereas you had a European themed show with
Medieval
dinner
time.
and
They've changed it like since I've been. They've how would I say? They haven't
yes.
they haven't like yeah, it used to be like, and this guy is dead, blah. And now it's kind of like this guy is, and they go like, oh, he's begging for
Surrendering.
mercy. You can't kill him. He's begging for mercy.
I mean, it
And
was
it's cool.
terrible. It was terrible, but great.
What?
It was
You didn't like
terrible,
it?
great. No, I loved it. It was terrible.
Oh,
It wasn't
it's
good quality entertainment, but it was
it's campy.
brilliant.
But like we said, the amount of money we spent to go there and
Oh,
be
the dinner
entertained
was
while we're eating,
delicious. The
yes.
dinner
And
was
we
delicious.
would have paid just as much for dinner somewhere
Elsewhere.
else without all that action.
And this time we got a handsome horseman throwing me carnations.
You did get a carnation, right?
I
And our
did.
server was a nice guy.
Mm-hmm.
I thought he was cool.
He was.
I don't know how they treat their horses. I wish I knew more about that, but
Yeah, it felt like the least vegan day of my life, I've got to say. I wasn't thrilled in some ways.
I mean, we didn't eat any gator.
No, but still.
I don't think I'd want to eat
I think
gator.
I'd be eating gator and crocodile and kangaroo.
I've had kangaroo. I've had
I've
horse.
had horse.
When I was in Switzerland, the stew they made at the canteen at the place I was working was made from horse, and it was really good. But anyway,
Anyway, yeah, so we did that.
yep, we went to Universal Studios
We
Islands of Adventure
did. And studios.
with Joshua Fiore and
Four foot 10
Liz Schlegel.
Schlegel. Schlegel. That's a name I've not learned how to say.
Yes, and she was on that's Josh's girlfriend, and she was on like season 2 of the Spartan Team Pro show. I did not know that until we became
Mm-hmm.
Instagram
Besties.
friends. Yeah. I only watched season 1. I didn't know there was a season 2 to be honest, but it's okay.
But that was
Um,
great fun, wasn't it?
it was really great fun. It has been a long
Poor
time since
Josh
I'd
was
been to.
exhausted.
Oh my gosh, because remember we were like, oh, we're gonna do this, and then we're gonna go to karaoke afterwards. And at the end of that day, the park. And by the way, the park closed at 7 p.m. We got out of there about 7:45. I was like, let's get food and let's go home.
Mm.
What?
Oh, I just thought, yeah, I thought you meant in the morning. I was like, no, we got there. Like,
No,
no.
yeah, but
Yeah, no, he was really tired and they still had an hour. I think if they hadn't had such a long drive home, they would
yeah,
have been okay. We had like a 7 minute drive and they had an hour and a half. But
and
talking of karaoke, me and Dustin went and did karaoke on the
I know
Sunday
you
night
did.
before I left. And it was great. And you know what? It was great for several reasons. You know why it was great for several reasons?
Tell me,
Well, because I did karaoke and I've never done karaoke before.
you've never done it.
I've never done it.
You've just gone and enjoyed yourself, but never actually sang.
I've not really been to karaoke that much. It's really hard to find karaoke in the UK. But I've always wanted to do it because I'm not a good singer. I'm a terrible singer and I'm just really scared of it. And then I was like, I'm just going to do it. And I did one song and it was terrible. And then I did another song and it was terrible. But I was adorable and I had fun. And then Dustin did karaoke and he did 3 songs. He did Johnny Cash. Can't remember what he did for his second song. But then his third song, he did Johnny Cash again, but he did a duet.
Yes. So First off, before we get to that, what songs did you sing?
So my first song was from The Little Mermaid. It was
Okay.
Part of Your World, which was very cute.
Oh,
And
there you go. That's
yeah.
a tough one.
Well, I used to sing it to Evelyn every night to go to bed, so I knew it very well. I was
And
like,
she's
this
not going
feels
to tell you
safe.
if you suck.
She does. And then I sang Carol King,
Girl,
which is
actually,
also not an easy song, to be fair.
okay.
So it was good, but it's a song that I like a lot. So
Now, yeah, so Dustin sang a Johnny Cash song, and then what was the second song?
can't remember.
Okay. And now I will tell you this. The third song he sang
I think we
was,
should just put a video up and not say anything.
do we have that?
I have it.
Okay. Well, send it to me and I'll do my best to put it in. How about that?
Okay,
And we'll
how
put it
about that?
in like right here. And by the way, because people are, well, no one's going to say this, but because no one's going to watch this or comment. But if they did comment, you're going to catch somebody who said, that's not a Johnny Cash song. That's technically a Nine Inch Nails song that was covered by Johnny Cash. And they'd be right. That
But
was a Nine Inch Nails song called Hurt, which Johnny Cash, shortly before he died, covered.
okay, but it was still a Johnny Cash song. A song
Yes.
by Johnny Cash. A song, oh, whatever.
And Trent Reznor from Nine Inch Nails said that that was he even that was a way better version of than the song than he did.
Absolutely.
And he wrote the song and performed the song. So
that was great fun. So
yes.
yay to Orlando for giving us some fun times after WTM. I was exhausted, but it was good.
Well, the last thing that we got to do as a group before we had to leave, and this was actually quite fun, is we got to find ourselves, which you can find all over the state of Florida, an indoor shooting range.
Yes.
And we got ourselves a 9mm and 100 rounds of ammunition. And we took turns just
pew, pew, pew.
blasting targets.
I actually found that, so I was for some reason I found it really uncomfortable. Like I've been shooting a few times and obviously not having really ever handled guns, I'm a bit like, oh, I'm terrified of guns. But I love shooting them. But I don't know, it felt really weird. Like there was the guy there, it was empty, the place was empty, and then you guys. And because we were all sharing the same target, which was just like one target, I couldn't see what I was doing. So I didn't know how to get better. And then I was just like, I don't like being watched. And then you guys were really adorable. And you're like, we're not going to watch you. And I was like, this is weird now. Please stop. Please.
Right.
I'm really uncomfortable now. But it was still fun. But we and Dustin did actually go back again to shoot.
I saw that. Yeah.
Which was good. We still had to share a lane, but it was packed. It was jam packed. There's a group of like 10 British guys. They must have spent thousands, and they had machine guns and rifles. So it was a bit overwhelming. But it was good to get a chance to pew pew again.
You know, the one thing that I learned, the one experience that happened to me while we were there is I realized harshly that I have never been personally alongside a machine gun as it's being fired. And
you would have hated when we went back then.
I was in my lane and I was concentrating because I want to try to be accurate. And I was like, pop, pop, taking. And one of the employees who clearly had been like working on a gun or something, refurbishing it or whatever, came into the stall next to me like unannounced and just walked up, stood, and rattled off like 10 rounds. Ah! And I mean, I was a little sure. I put my weapon down and I backed up for a second, just like it was incredibly disconcerting. Like, I don't ever want to be in a situation where that happens to me. Well, in that situation, it's controlled. It's fine. But like,
it's still it's amazing how loud and scary it is.
100%.
And
because then he came back in.
ears.
He came back in a second time.
Just casually carrying it as that.
I saw him this time, and even then, when he rattled off like 10 rounds, it was like, yeah. So those people who are comfortable with that and are like in that environment, good
Fine,
for you,
but
because
it's
it's not
scary.
me. It's not me. I'm not opposed to
We don't need to get into that.
exactly.
Loud noises are
Thank
scary.
you.
Loud noises are scary.
Yeah.
Before we finish off, I just want to go back to World's Toughest Mudder and
Yeah,
recap on the
please.
coverage that we did because I feel like we've not spoken about it enough. And I am going to toot the OCR report's horn for a second
Please do.
because it was bloody fantastic.
It
Like,
was
I
really
think
good.
this was the best year we've done. We had a really good big team. Like, the rabbits were out all night getting a ton of footage.
Hmm.
Really good footage. We had Dustin doing the drone. There was one point where Will had been watching it and he sent a screenshot and he was like, on screen interview live with the athlete. And it was Melissa Linden, and she was running, and it was potentially Evan, or I don't remember, interviewing her. And then we had her live stats on the bottom. And we just had loads of really cool graphics and technical things that Jason has spent a lot of time
Oh my
working
gosh,
on.
yeah.
He's already working on them for next year, like what we can improve to make it better. And it was just really great to be able to have so many things, to be able to interact with people. We had people commenting on YouTube all night. We had a fun little competition going. But more than anything, the content was really, really, really good. And the technical side was absolutely superb. And if you've not seen it, I highly recommend going on YouTube. It's divided into, is it 3 or 4 segments?
It's
And
8 hour
watching it.
blocks, so it's
Yeah,
3 8 hour blocks.
it's really good. I'm gonna say it. It was really good.
It was really good. And I've been watching it a little bit at work on the evenings. I'll put it up and kind of like let it run in the background while I'm working. And it's just fun. And it takes you back to like certain parts of the night. Oh, you said something that I don't think we gave enough. Well, we didn't give anything.
Uh-huh.
You talked about a little competition that we had during the live stream. Tell me about that, Fran,
Okay, I will tell you
and
about
how
that,
it
but I'll
came
just say
about.
one more thing about the live stream. We had a variety of voices on them.
Oh, man.
Wow, look how
It's
tired I
probably
look.
the weather too.
Anyway, I'm going to shut up now because I said that 5 times. So we had a competition, me and Will, going on. And we decided like literally 3 minutes before we went live, because last year we did a little something and we hadn't
Mhm.
discussed it. And I was like, let's do like a little competition. How about? And we came up with it together that we would try and get people to, we would try and raise money through super likes on YouTube, which when you're watching, you can send like anything like $1 upwards. And we would keep a tally for each of us. And whoever got the most dollars to their name would run through EST in the morning. And we did say if we raised a ridiculous sum, everyone would have to do it. We didn't get anywhere near that. And so throughout the night, we were, doing that and totting it up, and it was fun and silly. And in the end, Will had to do it. And I think we should
He
probably put
did.
that video in here as well.
I it was
Actually, no, go to Instagram and find the video of Will Hicks of the OCR report doing electroshock therapy.
it's
It
a
is
yeah,
so
it's
funny.
an Instagram reel. You can't miss it.
It's
And
so funny.
it's really funny because he does it like most people. He go through and everything's kind of cool at first, and then he gets and then he speeds up and he falls down and he just
It's great.
it's quintessential
Him and the
quintessential
mouse in his
EST.
pocket.
Yeah.
Yeah. So,
But yeah,
Carlo,
I mean, go ahead.
I was going to say, have you got any thoughts on things?
I don't have thoughts on things actually because I figured we'd be sharing our thoughts on the race and
Oh,
stuff.
do you know what? I've got one really random thing to say that's got nothing to do with World's Toughest Mudder, but it's loosely related. So we're not
Yeah,
doing any other we're just kind of ignoring all the events because we're just completely submerged in WTM right now.
we
However,
were.
I
Yeah.
did want to just give a shout out to an athlete who you have heard me mention before. The athlete is a British athlete called Dazos Cornella. Do you
Yep.
recognize that name?
I do.
He ran the London Marathon, did very well. He got first place at Europe's Toughest Mudder this year in Yorkshire, and he recently just won a marathon in 2 hours and 39 minutes, I want to say. That's off the top of my head, so I apologize if I
Sub
get that
3 hour
wrong.
marathon.
Not even sub 2 hour 40 marathon. And he, unless anything, I mean, he's not said this, but I would very much assume he is going to be at World's Toughest Mudder because it's in the UK next year. I'd be amazed if he didn't run World's Toughest Mudder. And he has the benefit of having run in UK and Europe a lot. And I think people are going to be surprised about how different it is just in terms of weather and all that, which we will talk about, further down the line. So
For sure.
it's already
And just competition, right?
One to watch, I'd say.
John Albon's got to come out for this, right?
He can't really. He's in a tricky spot because he runs for the GB Trail team, so he can't really do other stuff.
He's got contractual obligations.
I don't know if it's contractual or if it's just like to be sensible to not get injuries, but yeah.
Well, hopefully we see him.
Red little face like an elf.
But yeah, so all in all, over the top. Honestly, I had so much fun.
So much fun. It's always
start to
fun.
finish. Like
World's Toughest Mudder, get a house with people, stay there, buy too much food, don't sleep enough, be silly.
Do tortilla slap fights. But use bigger tortillas.
Use bigger tortillas. Me and Carl have started a TikTok channel.
We have started a TikTok channel. I don't have access to. Well, I don't have TikTok.
I don't know how to give you access to it. But
so anything that goes on there. What?
I sent you a link to a new post I did today.
I know, but I can't open it. If you don't have the TikTok app anymore, because I used to be able to open it in a web browser, and now it's like when you open it, it goes, get the app. And I go, no, just show me the video. And it goes, not anymore, we're not.
Okay.
The Chinese government wants your information.
Anyway, so there we go. That was World's Toughest Mudder 2024.
Final thoughts on?
It was a great
we covered
event.
Actually, there's probably things we've realized we haven't covered.
We could do this for the next 4 weeks.
100%.
100%, as I start to actually remember what happened.
Yeah.
I don't remember what happened.
It's okay. This is great.
All I remember, there are two things that I remember, and I shouted these out of brunch, was how nice it was to see Josh running past with a smile on his face every lap, and how nice it was to see Tyler running past with a smile on his face every lap. And I'd say those were my two standout moments. Especially, both of them. I was so happy to see Josh enjoy himself and have a good time and come second after last year. And I was so happy. Tyler had a really rough year last year. I was so happy to see him having a really great time. And I said to him, I was like, I don't think how you placed mattered in any way, shape, or form. You were just having a good time. But he was running like Billy
crushed.
And they crushed it. So those were my top points, I'd say.
I'll take it. I've said what I've said, Fran.
Okay.
Well, hey, Fran.
Yeah.
This was fun.
Let's do it again next week.
Okay. All right. Bye.
Bye.
Recording not longer in progress.